Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I am going to be talking about all of the reasons I can think of off the top of my head why terminal attack just doesn't really make sense to have as a ranked game mode. So, jumping straight into it, first up is, maybe not so much to do with the topic of this video, actually, but I'm going to say it anyway. Kyoto right now has a lot of frame drop issues for players, and because it's the new map, I find myself playing on Kyoto quite a lot in terminal attack ranked. And you see here, this isn't actually frame drops, but I think this is server lag, but I know I'm kind of putting them together for the purpose of talking about stuff that's wrong with terminal attack. But I know a lot of people are having frame drop issues right now on Kyoto specifically. So I'm sure some type of fix to that would be nice for a lot of people. So that's just the first thing to mention. The next thing, and more getting into the actual topic of the video now, is that light is the only meta. So when we had World's Tour, when we had Cash Out as the ranked mode in Season 1 and 2 and in the betas, at least medium and heavy were the metas. You had two classes that were extremely viable, and then you had light, which kind of sucked unless you were, like, insanely good at the game. And that is not the case anymore. Now, instead of having two metas, which is, like, medium and heavy, rather, or, like, two classes which are very solid to use, you only have one. You've only got light. The medium is completely pointless. They don't have healing beam, and they don't have defibrillator, and they don't have zipline or jump pad. I mean, they do, but if you only have one use of it, there's really not much point in using it at all. And that's like the entire purpose of medium kind of gone right out the window. Yes, they have turrets, and yes, they've got some weapons that some people like, but they're just not gonna cut it for this game mode. Heavy is okay in this game mode, but they're like definitely not the meta. Light is the only meta in this game mode. Just so much works for them that doesn't work for the other classes, and that's just really bad. Obviously, if you've only got one class that's meta instead of all three, that's just gonna feel a little bit suckier than having all three of the classes being pretty solid choices, and right now that's just not it. So it's like a downgrade, right? It's like downgraded from in Cash Out having two classes being very usable to just one class being very usable, and that just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Next thing is the health regen. So the classes are balanced based on how much health they have. So if you're playing heavy and you've got a sledgehammer, because you have 350 HP, you can, take a little run up to someone if they're a little bit far away, and then you can probably whack them a couple times with the sledgehammer. They'll probably get you to like about 100 or 50 HP, but you might be able to eliminate them if they're not fantastic with a sledgehammer, with a melee weapon, because you have 350 HP and you can kind of tank it. That's how that class is balanced, right? But with the health regen thing, now that you only regen up to 100 HP, if you were heavy in this game and you're using the sledgehammer, you're just gonna die. Someone's just gonna hit you with literally anything, and you're just gonna die before you even get to melee range of them. It's just not gonna work out. And that's not just for melee weapons, that's for a lot of weapons, like even the flamethrower, gonna have a really rough time using that, because it's like a damage over time weapon instead of a burst weapon. So anything that isn't a burst type weapon is gonna suck a little bit more in this game mode, so any melee weapons, the flamethrower, anything like that is just gonna be much worse than it would normally be. And also, additionally, like, it's just going to be really hard to use some of that stuff because you're also not going to have any health most of the time. You're going to, like, regen to 100 HP, but that's going to be it. So you're just going to get taken out by the same stuff a light would get taken out by, which isn't going to feel very good. And then, on top of the health regen issue, there's also the gadget's cooldown. The classes are balanced based on how much health they have, and also their gadgets. So I kind of understand that the gadgets have been balanced because it would be absolutely broken in this game mode if the heavy still had their RPGs and you didn't regenerate health. But there's a double balancing thing going on here where the devs were like, hey, we're gonna make it so that they only regenerate up to 100 HP so everyone could get taken out easily, but we're also gonna make it so you've only got one use of something so RPGs can't always insta-kill everyone in the game. So I kind of understand that's why it's done, but only having a limited amount of gadgets in this game doesn't feel good. And that's because the entire kind of selling point of the game is complete destruction. If you're talking to a friend and the friend's like, oh, the finals, I've never played it, what's it like? You're probably going to say, oh, that's great, you can destroy everything, it's really fun. And then they go and play the ranked mode of Terminal Attack, and they're like, oh, I've only got one RPG. Oh, cool, I can destroy one singular wall in one of these games. I guess that's going to be fun. That's all they can do. They can destroy one singular wall with one singular RPG in this game mode. And then, there you go, wall's gone. Good job. And that's it. Like, the whole destruction of this game is like a really main selling point of it, and that's just not going to be in this game mode, because people aren't going to run Breach Charge, they're not going to run Thermal Bore, they're not going to run RPG, they're just going to run stuff that can kill enemies and highlight invisible lights. That's going to be the meta, so you're not going to get any type of destructive stuff, really, for the most part, unless you're using barrels, but, like, normally, everything gets destroyed, and that's much more fun. And it changes the map up more, and it makes the maps feel more unique in all of the games, and that's just not really here at all. At least in the higher elos, I'd imagine it wouldn't be there at all. So it just makes the game feel a little bit more bland, and it feels like there's less to it, which is like a huge issue. And also, it's really weird for some of the for most of the gadgets, actually, like Sonar Grenade and Frag Grenade and Breach Charge and all of that, to only have limited uses. But also, then there's just Thermal Vision, which you can use as much as you want. That just doesn't really make much sense either, just to throw that out there as well. So, yeah. Yeah, I think I said this already, but just to reiterate on it, because I'm not sure if I did or not. At this point, I'm kind of turning into a rant a little bit more. Medium is completely useless in this game mode. Your Healing Beam is gone, Defibrillator is gone, and you do have Zipline and Jump Pad, but there's no point using that because you only have one of them. So, like, you're left with Light and Heavy, and Light is very good, and Heavy's okay, but there's no point in playing Medium. I think I did say that already, though. So, yeah. Another thing is that the game is too long. The games are too long. There's a lot of waiting time. Whenever you launch a game of ranked Terminal Attack, you spend, like, I think it's 10 seconds or more in the lobby, in every single round of the game, choosing what loadout you want to pick. So, let's say it goes to 6-6, you spend 10 by 12, you spend 120 seconds picking what loadout you want. You spend 2 minutes picking what loadout you want in a game of Terminal Attack. That's a lot of waiting. And then on top of that, at the start of each round, you have like 20 seconds where if you're attacking, you sit in a cage and you can't do anything. And if you're defending, great, you can put down a couple of mines and that's it. So 20 by... That's like 4 minutes spent where you can't do anything. And if you put that together, along with the loadout timer together, that's a whole 6 minutes per game of Terminal Attack where you're not playing Terminal Attack, right? And that doesn't feel very good. Having 6 minutes out of, I don't know, I think it's like 30 that normally a game can go up to if it goes to like 7-6 to someone. 6 out of the 30 that doesn't feel great. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, that's like 25, it's a fifth of it, 20% of the game, just waiting for like the box colliders to go down at the start of the game for you to pick your loadout. That doesn't feel very good. That doesn't feel very nice. And that's the problem with it. I don't really know how you'd fix it. But one thing you could do for sure is to put the amount of games that you need to win down. So right now you need to win 7 games to win the game. But maybe put that down to 5 or even 6. But anything lower would feel better, because right now the games definitely do go on for a long time. I know World Tour is longer. I know if all of the cash outs go in and all of the overtime start and you make it to the final round, I know World Tour is longer, but Terminal Attack feels a lot longer. There's like a bunch more downtime in Terminal Attack, and that's not even to mention if you die. If you die, you gotta wait the rest of the game out, and that could be like 3 minutes long, and then, you know, it's not a lot of waiting in it. There's a lot of waiting in it, and that doesn't feel very good for anyone. Another thing I'd like to talk about, and this one might be a little bit controversial, but let's say you're in the final round. It's 6-all, and whoever wins this game mode is gonna win. And you've eliminated everyone on the enemy team, and you're the only person left on your team. And let's say you've got 10 seconds to disarm the terminal that they've planted, right? you have to get to that terminal within 4 seconds and then start decrypting it on when there's 6 seconds left. It takes 6 seconds to steal the cash out, or I'm pretty sure to decrypt a terminal as well. So if you don't get there when there's 6 seconds left in the game, you just lose. If you get there when there's 5 seconds left, you just lose that game. And instead of instantly getting like a defeat thing, which probably should happen, you just have to wait 6 seconds and you can't do anything at all. And I think that happens in this match, actually. This is the only game we lose. And yeah, well, maybe not. Well, in a minute, we're going to lose the game because I don't have time to decrypt the terminal, basically. But what I think should happen is how cash out actually used to work in the betas. When you were stealing a cash out, the cash out would freeze. So you didn't need 6 seconds to steal it. You only needed 1 because it would freeze and then you'd be able to get it. And I think that's how it should work in this game mode, because if you've eliminated everyone in the enemy team and you've destroyed all of the mines and stuff like that, it feels really sucky to then lose to a timer. But like, you've already done everything you've needed to do to win. You haven't stepped on any mines, so that's not going to kill you. You've eliminated everyone on the enemy team, so you've already done that. And then it just feels really, really, really bad to lose on time. I understand it's there because it's like, oh, maybe if there is gas by the cash out station, you know, the enemies did a good job defending it last second or something. But I don't think that's going to cut it for this game mode. I think that when you're decrypting the thing, it should freeze. So if you've got 5 seconds left or 3 seconds left, you should be able to just go ahead and decrypt that. And it can still take 6 seconds long to decrypt, but the actual timer of the game freezes so that you can decrypt it even though there's only 3 seconds left and it takes 6 seconds to decrypt. It should be so that works. This is just kind of a personal opinion, but it feels really, really, really bad when you do everything right and then you just don't have time because maybe a teammate threw the decryption key somewhere and you can't go and get that and get back to the cash out in the right amount of time. It just doesn't feel great. So yeah, another thing is 5v5 is just a really random choice. I know it's because Nexon probably wanted the game to be like CSGO and all that kind of stuff, but 5v5 is just weird. Much higher carry potential if it's 3v, like, I mean, maybe not higher carry potential, but it's going to be much easier to like solo carry if it's a 3v3 or a 4v4 than it is if it's going to be a 5v5. I know that's kind of balanced out by health and all of that from the enemy team, you know, limited gadgets and limited health and all that, so it kind of does balance out. But that's just kind of an extra weird thing. Don't really know where it would be 5v5. But yeah, kind of rambling on a little bit now. I think that's most of the stuff that I wanted to mention. There's probably a bunch of things that I missed out, and I'm going to remember them after I post the video. But if you can think of anything else that's worth mentioning that's just kind of bad or wrong with terminal attack, do put that down in the comments down below. I sincerely hope that light isn't balanced around terminal attack, because then they would just suck in all of the other game modes. And I also hope that terminal attack is taken out as soon as it possibly can be, because it's just a really bad game mode and cash out is much, much better. I'd rather have power shift as the ranked mode instead of this. So yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be it for this video. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Farewell.